part 2 of our interview, Daniel reveals his predilection for conspiracy.
We've been approached several times to air documentaries about September 11th.
But why air a documentary when you can interview these guys in person?
Somebody came into the studio actually and suggested we should do something on 9/11. They're very concerned about it. They said, let's talk about what happened.
I'm upset about 9/11 because effectively I was an undergraduate in engineering.
Yeah.
And I was 25 when it happened.
Right.
And so for about 5 years there, I tried to play it out in my head as the media was telling you and trying to, because these were engineers that supposedly boarded the plane and hijacked it. So I tried to put myself in their position, like what would it be like to break through doors and like hijack and kill people and then actually fly a plane in towards a building. Like what kind of state of mind you would have to be in to pull something like that off, right? And then it was actually I saw some Alex Jones films just at a friend. I had no idea who Alex Jones was, and I watched a film at his house, at a friend's house, and I was angry after I saw it because they went over some facts with respect to the Oklahoma City bombing, and then 9/11. There's a lot of things that weren't shown on the news that day. And yeah, they're really upsetting from an engineering point of view that wasn't the focal point of the day. There's certain events that just were not the focal point according to the mainstream media. But there have been people, like there's a huge patriot movement on the internet right now, and people working towards like an independent investigation into these events because we spent a lot of money and a lot of people have been killed and our policy has just been out of control. And how could
so as a result of 9/11, a lot of people have been killed?
Yeah, look in Iraq, and that's the cradle of civilization. It's been destroyed. And in Afghanistan, even if you don't like the way they treat their women, do you have the right to go in there for fictitious reasons? If they are fictitious, or do you want to send your soldiers? Would you like to be a soldier in Iraq? Or in Afghanistan with the Canadian flag on your shoulder, and you're there for fictitious reasons, honestly. But anyways, it's the third building on 9/11 that came down. So this was the showstopper for me. That really had to make me think because it violates very simple principles in nature. Have you seen the collapse of Building 7?
No.
Okay, so anyone out there that's remotely interested in where the direction of this country is going should go and take a look at the collapse of Building 7. I'm not a P engineer, but I've read science books my entire life, and I work.
You're a chemical engineer.
Yeah,
I'm a civil engineer.
I'm not a civil engineer. It's true, right?
Yeah.
So, but there are many structural and civil engineers. There's actually a website called Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, AE911truth.org.
Who do you believe is responsible for the 9/11 terror attacks?
Well, right now, if you really follow the 9/11 Truth movement, there's people like in the military brass in the United States, and they think the only people that really would have been capable of pulling that off was probably either the MI6 in England or the Mossad in Israel.
Do you believe that the inner circle at the White House
they absolutely know, absolutely.
Wow.
So Hitler also burned the Reichstag and he blamed the communists before World War II. So history just is repeating itself, in my opinion.
And the agenda is profit.
Police state control, mostly control. People that have the right to print the money, they want to keep printing the money.
Okay.
So it always comes back to the money. Like when I was a kid, I thought that the money, there was something in the bank.
Right, backing up the money.
Yeah, but there's nothing in the bank, so we can forget about the money, and we can forget about this concept of paper money.
Show me your money. You have money.
Yeah, so this is...
What are you doing with that? Is that just a token? Or
nowadays you go to a store and everyone's forced to use legal tender. Right?
You got to hold that up a little higher. There. Yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah.
There it is. So you're forced to use legal tender. So the key is, if you want to go back to being a free people, is to pass a law saying that guys like me or anyone can go and make coins out of precious metal and use it as money. So we can compete with this paper money, because this paper money is going to lose all its value. It always has, and history is just repeating itself. Like the American Revolution was because of inflation, and it's just happening over again. They're taking the nickel out of the money, and that's going to...
They're taking the nickel out of the coins.
Out of the coins, and that's dollar devaluation, and most people don't know that it's going on, but it's going to have a serious effect on your pocketbook in the near future. But we have an impossible monetary system as it stands. So it's going to end, and it'll probably end badly. And usually when you have hyperinflation, you end up having phenomenon like these crazed dictators come to power that are going to solve the problem, be it Napoleon or Hitler. This is what happened.
But according to your understanding of the world, isn't that what's happening right now?
Yeah, sure it is.
That we already do. We've got like crazed dictators under the guise of democracy in the U.S.
Absolutely, and Canada.
So how much worse could it get? I mean, if
worse.
they're overthrowing their own country, you know. So let's like don't do doom and gloom. Like we're already there, right?
We're already there. We're already there. It's true. It's been going on for about 40 years. The most important date in monetary history in the past, say, 300 years was August 15th, 1971.
Okay.
And Nixon came out and he cut the link with gold. So since the installment of the central banks, we've had this paper money and we've grown up in an inflationary system. You and I both, our entire lifetimes have been inflationary. So rising prices is not good for you or I, or the middle class. It's only good for a very small sector. And they're spinning it like it's a good thing for us.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Sometimes I wonder where my brother gets his brains from, and then I remember that he's related to me.